If you want to get early access to all of our daily videos, please consider joining our Patreon. I'll put a link below. Here it is on the screen. Again, you get early access to all the daily videos, ad-free, early, before anyone else gets to see them. Have at it. And you can help support the channel. Exclusive audio recording of a U.S. military pilot having an encounter with a UFO. We've got the story here. So it was just released on News Nation.
What you're about to hear is the voices of the pilot and air traffic controllers, and it's set to computer animation. Take a look.
LA Center, Troy 2-1.
Troy 2-1, go ahead.
It's not weird, but I just had something pass underneath my wing, maybe like a football-sized object right underneath our wing.
Troy 2-1, Roger. Do you think it was a drone or?
I have no idea. I got my sensor operator looking for it on the camera right now. We'll see if we can find it. But it's like a dark gray cylindrical object, and it was probably the size of a football, and it passed maybe 10 feet under our right wing.
Troy 2-1, Roger. Thank you for the report. Keep me advised if you find anything else out.
Yeah, we'll do. We're looking for it now. And so, correction. LA Center, Troy 2-1. We got something on air-to-air radar. We're trying to get visual on it.
Troy 2-1, Roger.
And LA Center 094, bearing from us for about 60 miles is where it is now.
Troy 2-1, say again.
094, bearing from us about 60 miles away is where we're picking it up now.
LA 15,
Troy 2-1, Roger, thank you.
All right, this guy was stopped at 14 for him because we were busy. There was some UFO reported here, but that's all taken care of now, so you don't have to worry about it unless you want to talk to Aaron. It was earlier, but it's gone.
All right, so let's break this down. We've got a football-sized object, not a football field-sized object, because that term is often used in the UFO community, and I don't want people to get confused there. A football-sized object, right? So what is that? Is that football-sized? I don't know. Been a while since I've thrown a football. But, yeah, right? I mean, that's not that big. Flying about 10 feet under the wing, I mean, that's definitely enough to do, substantial damage to an aircraft. And it flies under their wing, about 10 feet under. And this is always the case with these UFOs. Like, here's the plane coming this way, and then the UFO always comes this way. It's never like it comes up alongside. It's like, what's up, dude? It's always this way. So the plane is flying, and boom, this little object flies under the wing, football-sized, right? Again, definitely could cause a lot of damage. All right, so it also looks like this is taking place in California, in Los Angeles. As we'll later learn here, this is a Homeland Security flight. So they were on some sort of mission and come across this UFO, right? And it gets reported, and boom, here we are.
I may not have to worry about it, but I am plenty worried about it. This is where I call in Ben Hansen to help me make heads or tails of this. Ben is a former FBI special agent and host of UFO Witness on Discovery Plus. He managed to secure that recording that you just heard because it was not made available to the public. Ben, what is your take?
This is a really interesting case. It was actually the air traffic controller who reported it to the National UFO Reporting Center, or NUFORC. So NUFORC is actually cited in the FAA regs as one of the places where pilots can go to make reports. So first, we want to thank the controller for reporting it, and also for the pilots. This was a Homeland Security flight, actually. So they were on, I don't want to say covert, but they were on a mission, probably doing drug interdiction or something like that. And they're flying along and they see this thing. So very experienced pilots. Now, this particular aircraft, too, is a Beechcraft 350C, which they've converted to include a very sensitive and complex radar array. So you see that dome on the top of it. It's actually there to track, drug traffickers and things like that. So when they call this thing in, this is about 2:30 in the afternoon. It's September 17th of last year. It's broad daylight. They got a good look at this thing, cylindrical, dark object that passes underneath their wings so close. So, I mean, obviously you can see there's big problems with that happening. in controlled airspace like they were, and they weren't notified of any air traffic that was supposed to be in the area.
All right, so we're learning a few more details. This is September of 2024, about 2:30 in the afternoon, and this Homeland Security plane is on some sort of mission, and this football-sized object flies under about 10 feet under one of the wings, right? But they also see it on radar later as well, right? And then it gets reported by, the control tower and the pilot. Now, it doesn't become public, but, Ben Hansen here, who goes on News Nation, then, brings this out, and they make this animation to show you. That's not the video, right? Clearly, that is just an animation. And, yeah, I mean, I don't know. It would be, if I'm the pilot, that's terrifying, right? That's terrifying. Now, what other objects could be up at that, height, right? They're about 20,000 feet or so. Could it be a drone?
I'm also sort of gobsmacked by 20,000 feet because I don't think that ground-controlled, unmanned flights can operate at that altitude. Call me crazy. I think at one point they asked if it was a drone. What's the word on the possibility of some kind of a drone activity?
So it could be. It'd be very rare, but hobby drones can go up that high. Obviously, military can as well. This occurred near what we call military operations area, but it was not in that airspace. So anyone who was flying something to test a commercial type of drone or something would have had to call in. Now, the other thing that's very interesting about this is you hear them call out what they believe they're tracking this object about 60 miles away because they've got their own airborne radar. And the pilot calls back to air traffic control, says, we think we have it. Now, debatable whether their radar array could see something this small at 60 miles. But if true, within the 2 minutes when they called back, that would place this object going about Mach 2. Okay, so from them to gain that much distance in that amount of time. So that would absolutely, in my opinion, eliminate any prosaic explanation of a drone or anything of that nature.
All right, so may not have been a drone if it was going Mach 2. If, right, this is a few ifs here, right? What he's saying is the radar array that's on top of the plane, if that, it's sort of debatable. He's saying if it's 60 miles out, they could detect a football-sized object. But if they're right, and according to the time and distance, it would have to have been going Mach 2, basically, right? And essentially behind them, right? So they would be getting further away from it, right? Because it zipped by them, right? So then, right? Now that I say that, it doesn't, don't really know which way it was going.
Troy 2-1, Roger. Do you think it was a drone or?
I have no idea. I got my sensor operator looking for it on the camera right now. We'll see if we can find it. But it's like a dark gray cylindrical object, and it was probably the size of a football, and it passed maybe 10 feet under our right wing.
You just say it goes by the wing, it flies by the wing, but which way? I don't know. Maybe it came at an angle, but I don't know. Either way, it's kind of debunking the drone theory, right? If it was a drone or something. So I don't know, right? How can an object on its own volition move that far, like a balloon? Let's say it was a balloon or something. Could it move at Mach 2 and travel 60 miles in, matter of a couple minutes? Probably not. A drone? Probably not, right? So what is this? Now, does this mean it's an alien object of some sort? I mean, I don't know. It is interesting to think about how many pilots have encounters like this and how many have been reported that are just kind of hidden there, right? Essentially. But one good thing to take away from this is that there is reporting centers for these pilots to sort of report to, right? That's kind of a good thing. Now, another interesting point is they mentioned that one of the other guys on the plane is going to check the camera.
I have no idea. I got my sensor operator looking for it on the camera right now. We'll see if we can find it. But
so does that mean that there's a video recording potentially of this? All right, because this is just the audio recording of what they reported. as Ben here will tell you, he has not spoken to the people, right? The pilot and the other people on the plane.
So the animation, by the way, it's so realistic, I was caught off guard. Was that sort of made with the help of those who witnessed it so that it's as accurate as it can be?
Well, in this case, my team has not spoken with the crew, as you can imagine, because the sensitivity of probably what they were doing on this mission, it wouldn't benefit them to come forward to talk to the public quite yet. We'd encourage it, yes, but this was our rendering of just based on the audio that we had. It's a guess, right? That object could have gone underneath from left to right, forward to back. We don't know. But we do know their description is pretty exact.
Not good. I'm glad he says that at the end, right? Doesn't really know which way the object is going, but the animation has it going a particular way. And if you see it, kind of just sets it in your mind that that's how it was, right? So, that's fair enough. But, this is interesting. He hasn't had a chance to talk to the pilots. Will they come forward? I don't know. It's kind of one of those things that maybe it's not necessary, right? It's not like it is an encounter, but how disruptive was it, right? Are these guys really going to want to come out publicly, put their faces out, I doubt it for this sort of thing. But I'm glad they reported and let people know, hey, there's football-sized objects flying Mach 2 around here. I mean, 10 feet within the plane is so close, right? That is just so close. I mean, what if it would have hit the plane? And that's really the issue, right, with reporting these things, is that one day there could be a collision, right, like that these pilots can't come back from. So I get the importance of reporting things that are unidentified like this and that pose a threat, right, to some extent, right, because it's an unknown. Now, does that mean it's extraterrestrial? That's another story. But the idea of, pilots being able to report sightings like this, I'm all for it. And I think we should report these things, learn about them, find out maybe there's more stories of football-sized, UFOs, nearly missing planes, right? Especially in that area. Has anyone else had sightings like that in that area? That would be interesting to know. So anyway, if any new updates come out, I'll let you guys know. Thank y'all for watching, Vetters. We'll see you on the next one. Remember, every day's a gift, y'all. Peace.
I live inside my own world of make-believe. Kids screaming in the cradles, profanities. I see the world through ice covered in ink and bleach. Cross out the ones who heard my cries and watched me weep.